Hello and welcome to another video by myself, Chris, from Sorare on a Budget. Today I'm going to be taking a little look at the fallout and reaction to the product map, and let's just see where everybody's head's been at. There's been quite a lot of kind of chatter all over Twitter, Discord, and probably on the moon at this point. Everybody seems to have obviously had various different opinions on it. So what I'm going to kind of run through is kind of like where I'm at with it now, social media reaction, market reaction, things I think people have missed the point on, and yeah, we'll go through all those. If you're brand new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button below. It helps grow the channel. After the last video, I think I added about 20 new subscriptions onto there, which is awesome. It's quite close to 2,000 subs on there, actually, which is quite impressive for a channel that's been kind of sitting dead for 6 months. But hopefully, I'm kind of on the track of being able to get back on the regular videos now. If you're new to Sorare altogether, you can use my link there. It's also in the description below, sorareonabudget.com. It just forwards you to the Sorare website to get signed up. And if you do so, I think you get market credits now and things like that there as well. So worth having a wee look there. You can also play for free in the Rivals mode, which has actually been something I've quite enjoyed playing. Although every time I got to a milestone, I lost the last game. So I was still sitting. I think I had needed to get the 5. And I kept getting to 4 and losing, and then I was getting frustrated with it. So, yeah, but now that it's 3, I've had a few boxes, but it's always only tickets. So when can I get a signed shirt or a player or a card, that kind of thing? We'll see how that goes. But anyhow, back to the product roadmap. Obviously, I did the video a few days ago. That was kind of almost instant thoughts. How the I haven't changed my opinion on some of the things like the 9 days notice for the changes to the thresholds. And sure enough, yes, you do need to select your the target you want to go for. I've got Sorare open here, just to let you see if you haven't already. When you go in to the pro modes and you select your 240 team. I'll just go in and edit this one. This is my limited team for the weekend. Dundee have got a really good fixture for the weekend, so I'm going heavy with my Dundee stacks this weekend. But when you confirm it, here you go. You've got your targets there, so you've got to choose which one you want to go for. I've been a wee bit outlandish with the limited one. I put it for the $25. The rare one I went for 340 points, which I think is 80. It's a doable one. We're playing against Ross County, who are in a bit of disarray. So I'm kind of hopeful on that one. I very much doubt we'll get 340, but I mean, my choices were limited. So yeah, unfortunately, it does, as I say, it does turn out to be that you would need to actually select that. Don't like that whatsoever. As I've spent the rest of the week and I've chatted to various different people, Russ obviously being one of them, different people in different groups that I'm in, and chatted to quite a lot of folk on Twitter itself. I'm really positive about the new groups, the new competitions, contender, challenger, champion. Um, I, all my cards are contender, so that's obviously where I'm going to be. It would take an awful lot of upheaval now to switch to try and play at the challenger or to play in champion. It would be a massive upheaval. So I'm going to just leave it as it is with that. The one thing I did do, you may have noticed there when I had my gallery sitting open, I will go back into it. It feels like there's too many steps to get to your cards, by the way. Just a complete aside. I've bought a Premier League limited team to play in the Premier League in season mode. I've got my one old season card here for Mark Flecken, but mainly because it was so cheap, it was £15. And then I've got my 4 cards here. So I'm not expecting miracles. I just want something to actually be competitive, and try and get towards that threshold. This weekend's going to be difficult. It's difficult fixtures, but based on the last 15 scores, all the outfielders are over 50. So let's just see how it rolls, eh? So, but yeah, that's one mode I'm quite excited for. The cap mode's pretty disappointed. Cap 220 is still there, so I've got a team entered into there as well. And I'm just getting myself prepared for the end of March, basically, is where I'm at. You'll notice I got a bigger balance than I think it was 2p I had last time. I actually sold one of my goalkeepers who had fallen. I bought Liam Kelly in Motherwell. He was sent 144 quid, I think I paid for him. And he went all the way down to 90 after the announcement. And that's something I'm going to come to. However, he sold yesterday for 135. So it recovered most of that money. I was able to use some of it here. And actually, for an extra 15, 20 quid, I can actually get a safe as houses #1 goalkeeper. So, it's quite clear there's been a lot of fallout. So let's move on. Social media reaction. This is a tough one because everybody's gut instinct is to moan. Still look for the negative and everything, and that does happen. You do have a few people call them apologists, but I think there's maybe optimists is maybe a better term for it. But you've got the guys who were absolutely delighted with it instantly. They're probably not the people who are playing, on the smaller end of the budgets, maybe playing cap 220, 240, that kind of thing, makes it a wee bit more difficult for those people to kind of move on a little bit. But if you regroup, and I will do probably a strategy video some point, either at the weekend or maybe the start of next week, and just on where thought processes and how that's going about. But there's been many people that are in between. There's a lot of people like myself who are maybe disappointed with one aspect, but really happy with others. What I would say to everybody is don't run with the first opinion you see on Twitter, whether it be mine, whether it be, Russ's, whether it be McBride's, whether it be Quinny's. It could be anybody's opinion, but you have to take time to actually digest it for yourself. The problem with society that we are just now, there's so many people who see one headline and don't actually even look into whether it's true, whether it's false, anything like that. So this, do your own research, make up your own mind, and you will probably find that you'll be somewhere in between. You're not going to be fully ecstatic about it. You're not going to be fully, frustrated. Well, you probably were frustrated with it, but you will find middle ground. And that's kind of where I'm going to go and talk about with this now. So market reaction. Now, this was a big one. So on the right here, I've subscribed to Sir Hiss on Telegram, and every day at 5 o'clock, I think it's 5:01, you get sent an update on how the market's been. So this was the market on, I believe this was Sunday and Monday when I took these. So top one's Sunday, the bottom one's Monday. As you can see, every single category of card was going down. And some of them start to go down by quite a lot. And surprisingly, some of them were like America, -2.3. Now, that could well be because they grouped Argentina into the contenders group. So people who have maybe built a Champion America team are now having to dismantle that because there's only really MLS or, that it broken a lot of people's teams. So people are now selling and moving. Asia, obviously, again, another one's going to be playing over the winter, and they're now in the contenders one. And there's been a lot of people kind of feeling like, because it's gone into contender, it's the bottom tier. You're only going to win crap cards. My Celtic stats worthless. Blah blah blah. A lot of shite. It's a lot of shite in my opinion. If you've got old season cards, you're going to be competing for new season cards. If you've got new season cards, you're going to be competing for cash. Whether I've always sold my cards, as I've said. If I've won something, I've sold it and I've bought what I wanted, or I've took money out. I'm one of those. As I've made no bones about it from the start. But the impact of these new competitions is that people are having to redo their galleries or make massive changes to it and move from one thing to another. Premier League limited cards have been massively on the up. I mean, you can see I nearly paid 20 quid for a Dominic Solanke card. The prices are going high there, and that's because that's one competition where you're actually able to win cash, and it's decent money people are winning. Now I've not got a full stack to play in that. I'm probably going to be competing towards the bottom end of it, but at least I'm competing for some cash going into the balance, basically. Gallery values. I've seen so many people talking about their galleries, how much it's worth and how much it's lost in a few days. I always look at it like stocks and shares on the market. If you buy shares in a company, you could have a net worth on paper of, 100 grand. But until you sell those shares, you've got a paper profit. You don't have any, or paper wealth. You don't actually have that wealth until you sell it. And it's only worth what it's worth at that point when you sell it. So the gallery value is really irrelevant until you come to sell. And if you're not looking to sell, your gallery value is pretty much irrelevant until that point. So it is a fair bit of doom and gloom for a lot of people. However, the main things that I've looked at from it to try and take a positive. If my cards have come down, so have everybody else's. So realistically, I'm still in a. They've all come down in a fairly parallel amount. You can see here, if you take this one, look, Champion Europe, minus 1.7, 1.6 America, 1.4 Asia. So they've come down fairly uniform. So if my cards have come down, everybody else's cards. So if I want to sell my, let's just say, Trevor Carson card, sent about £100 just now. He was 140, but the card that I want to buy in America was 140 a couple of weeks ago, and now it's £100. So they're falling in parallel. New buyers, if there's new money coming into the market, they're in a great place because they're able to come in and actually just pick off these cards that they actually want at really good prices. So that's the kind of way I've been looking at it. The prices are really low on the cards. There's goalkeepers going. I'll just quickly bring one up. I mean, it's one that I've taken flack for in the past, which was David Marshall. Let's just bring him up here. The keeper at the top there, one of the South Korean keeper that plays in Japan, is down at £100 for a starting goalkeeper, which is just wild. Does have a bit of dubiety over his place, but the backup's 100 is only £70 or something like that as well. So if we look at David Marshall, he is sitting right around £50. Don't know why it's run so slow, but it is. Yeah, look at that, £52 for an all season card, 54 for an in season one. So even if, I mean, chances are he could retire at the end of the season. He's out of contract at the end of the season. But you've got, I think there's still 13 games for Hibs left. So 13 shots at either playing for the $15 or at the end of March playing in some of the new competitions. Hibs aren't a bad team. They've gone through a bit of upheaval and what have you. Marshall has always been a really good keeper, but to me at the start of the season it looked like he was kind of done. But look at his last 15, 51. He kind of shut my face up, didn't he? But his last five starts to prove it again. But nonetheless, it just shows you the prices are so low for entry points. So if you've got pals that are looking to get in, you might feel a wee bit doom and gloom about them, but the prices for people to come in at are really, really good just now. So some of the key things that I think people have been missing, divisions. One of the big things about divisions is if you go in and you read the frequently asked questions section of that article, is that you're going to be grouped with similar sized galleries or similar strength galleries even. So it'll be interesting to see how that does actually bracket out. But if you're somebody like me who doesn't have, I don't think, I'm not even sure if my keepers would be into tier 2. I think they're probably still in tier 3 or what have you. But I don't have a wealth of tier 0s, tier 1s, tier 2s, or that sort of thing. I've got tier 3s mainly, tier 4s, 5s, what have you. I'm going to be grouped in the same bracket. So I'm unlikely to be in the same, let's say I'm not going to be in the same division as McBride, because he's got much stronger gallery, full, like Celtic stacks, things like that. So he'll be sitting in maybe in Division 1, while I'll be in Division 4. So I'm not competing against him. I'm going to be competing against people with similar galleries. So it's something that does somewhat level the playing field, and it'll be very interesting to see how that pans out when the game mode rolls out. But as it stands, lower card value, lower scoring cards at the moment that are maybe or lower value ones even, they still got really good value if you're playing in, if you've got a whole gallery of them, you're going to be put into similar ones. So that to me just kind of shows there is a bit of promise there, and it'll be quite interesting to see how that rolls. Another thing a lot of people have kind of been missing out on is the fact that you are able to use at least one classic season card, so an old card to us normals, an old card in the in-season competitions. That's most likely probably going to be goalkeeper for me. Rather than having to reinvest in new goalkeepers every season, I could just run with the keepers that I've got, and then just start to buy or pick up, what I can of the in-season one. So then I can start playing that again next season. So that's something. I think it's one in limited, one in rare, two in super rare, and two in unique. I think most of the people watching this video, in all honesty, are probably playing limited and rares. So it just saves you the massive outlay. I mean, just to show you, I think the difference between Flecken that I picked up in season, so his current season card, and his old season ones was substantial. Let's bring up the limited. So yeah, look, you've getting his in season one for £17.50, 17.49. And then the first one here was 23. So you're what? That's an extra 30% on the price of it. So if you want that one card to be your your out of season card, it's cheaper to buy it. So It does give options. It does give options. And I do feel as though that's something that's kind of been missed a wee bit because people feel like they have to redo the whole galleries, but it's not the case. You're only having to change little bits at a time. Um, but yeah, on the whole, as I say, I'm still very positive. I feel the competitions are going to be something that are going to be fun to try and get involved with. I'm interested to see how over the next few weeks my Premier League team does because it's not the strongest. It costs 57 quid though. That's one thing I will say. It did cost a fair chunk. It's not. I'm not prepared to spend, a couple of £100 to play with, a big stack. I want to just kind of play it where I'm comfortable. And that's one thing as well. Just before I shut off, um, people have said about how much they're losing and things like that and what have you. Um, I've said right from the start, that's what I've done from the start. You only play what you're comfortable to lose. If the platform went to zero for any reason, whatever you've got in there is going to be lost. And it's you've got to be comfortable with what you've got in the platform is what you're comfortable losing. It's it's not the same as obviously no Sorare's is separate from a gambling industry. But if I put £10 into William Hill to play with, I need to be prepared that I'm going to lose that £10. If I win anything, that's a bonus. But I spend that £10 like I've just spent a tenner in Tesco. I'm not expecting it back. That's the way you've kind of got to look at it. If you're uncomfortable with the amount of money you have in there, then you need to reevaluate where you're at because your risk level is going to be different from my risk level. You may not have any risk. I mean, I'm playing stake free because I've taken so much money out. All the money that I've got in here now is house money as such. So I'm comfortable where it is. And I only take out if I've got an emergency or I've got something that's happening. So bear that in mind, guys. Do your own risk assessment on where you feel you are with the platform. Simple as that. So thank you for everybody that's subscribed to the channel. If you've not, please just hit that subscribe button below. You don't have to put on the notifications, but if you do, you'll get the twice annual notifications of when I've done a video. If you have any ideas for upcoming videos, I do think the strategy one's probably where I'm going to go next. Drop me a DM. I'd love to get some feedback as well. The feedback on the first video was brilliant, and I'm quite interested to see how people feel about this one. As I say, if you made it to the end of this video and you're still interested in getting signed up, SorareOnTheBudget.com, it's in the link below. You can follow me on Twitter at SorareOnTheBudget. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with you all again very soon.